What are great questions to ask your interviewer at the end of a job interview? Tell me something positive about working here that I won't find with many other employers. The more personal the answer. Deb brings in cookies on Fridays. We have a company trip to Worlds of Water every July. The better the job will be. IMHO. The more it sounds like a rehashed version of their mission statement, the worse. Sometimes it might sound rehearsed. It's probably because they do quite a few interviews and get asked the same questions again. Doesn't make it less honest or true. These ones have generally worked well for me. What is the culture of the office like? This is the real question to ask to find the answer to am I going to be the oddball in my 30s with kids when everybody else is in their 20s and staying late than going to happy hour? Could you walk me through an average day/week in this position? Pretty self-explanatory. What would success look like in 30/60/90/180 days? Gives you expectations of how fast you'll need to be up to speed. What would a career trajectory or advancement look like in this position? Lets them know you're a hard charger. Plus gives you an idea whether this is a dead-end job or not. Why is this position open? Riskier ask and might not get a straight answer, but you can take your pick of opinions on the job, management, and the previous holder. If the interviewer drops info like they left, were fired, promoted, it's a new position, etc. Always ask why is this position open. The answer can be quite revealing and verification of other company culture questions you should be asking. What is an average daily routine for this position? What opportunities for growth and advancement are there? I've seen your mission values, but tell me in your own words, what are the goals of this company? What do you like about working here? The last one is particularly good. I always ask interviewers what their favorite thing about working here is. It can be very telling depending on their answer. Another Redditor, in ours, commented that you should ask interviewers what they don't like about the job. It sounds like an interesting question, but I feel asking what they like instead sounds less negative and potentially just as useful. I don't ask them directly what they don't like about the company or workplace. I always try to phrase it as what would they change about the workplace. If they say nothing, run. Anyone reasonable will acknowledge that sometimes there's crunch and it's terrible or something along those lines. No place is perfect. Also, ask them about their reasoning if they don't offer it, just so you might get some insight into their priorities. I've had 2 potential managers tell me the working hours. When asked why, one said, I'd like to give everybody X day off, guaranteed, just so they know for sure they can spend time with family then. And the other said, because there's not enough time in the day. Where do I go to cry during breaks? What breaks? Camera pans up to portrait of Bezos. Can I see the fridge I will be using so I can size my lunchbox purchase appropriately? Bows here. I'd love to field that question. Never been asked before and would happily show them our collection of sauce packets and the jar of mustard from that BBQ we had 2 years ago. The office fridge. Why is this position vacant? What is the culture like here? How is success measured in this position? What would your employees say about you as a boss? How is success measured in this position? All of these are great, but I'm especially partial to this one. How would you describe morale in your workplace? And what does the company do to help build morale? This is the most polite but direct way of asking, does it suck to work here in a way which puts the onus on the company? A great or suspicious employer will smile and tell you of their weekly challenges/games/events they help break up the work week. A good employer will nod, admit the work can be hard, but they always hold small events to thank the workforce for their hard work. Once I asked this, and the 2 people conducting the interview gave each other a troubled look before one of them said, we let people sit in their teams, so you have a comrade with your colleagues. It was the one time in my life that I've had the company fail the interview. What happened to the guy before me? Once had an interview where they said they would let someone go to make room for my position. Yikes. At the end of an interview for a job I really wanted, the creative director of that place asked if I had any questions or wanted to know anything before we ended, and he moved on to the next guy. So I simply asked, when do I start? He gave a nice laugh, but gave me no answer. And I got a call 2 or 3 hours later from him just saying next Monday at 9:30. And that was like 7 years ago, and I haven't had the need to go to job interviews ever since. Hours here. Honestly, ask about what problems you'd be solving, what they don't like about the company, what they'd change on their team, what's made people stay, and what's made them quit. What's the most frustrating day they faced while working there? What's the stupidest rule at the company? My personal favorite: anyone who paints a rosy picture and doesn't say anything negative is lying. Maybe it's just my preference, but I'd rather work somewhere that has the balls and integrity to say they aren't perfect and want me to help change them than trying to pull the wool over my eyes to get me to work there. It also helps to understand what your must-haves are before you apply. You can do this throughout their process too, of course, so you can see if you'll enjoy it there. While no job is perfect, enjoying things in month 4 versus month 14 is often two very different things. Side note, I always ask if the office coffee sucks because I'm a snob and need to know if I should bring my own press and grinds to keep in my office. You're in ours and you think a hiring manager shouldn't or is going to actively tell an employee in the hiring process what they dislike about the company? God, I fucking hate it here. Thinking of leaving myself. Apostrophe.